Hey everybody, this is Heartless Spartan here with another 1/6 scale Toy Talk review. Today I have the Dragon and Dreams World War II United States 2nd Ranger Battalion Series 7 Medic Wade 1/6 scale figure. This is the character Irwin Wade from the film Saving Private Ryan, played by Giovanni Ribisi. Wade was a technician, 4th grade, serving as a medic in the film. Now, as per the usual, I do what I can to explain each item or piece of equipment. There are others that are far more knowledgeable than I am in that category, so I do the best I can with some research on the spot and when I'm assembling the figure, which I usually do off camera. These reviews get lengthy, so let's get right into it. Alright, let's take a look at our box. So we have a nice picture of our figure of Wade on the front here, attending to a soldier. It almost looks like Upham laying there, but that didn't really happen in the movie. But it's a nice display right there. On the side, we have a pretty cool portrait. On the back, there's a nice layout of all of his uniform and equipment. Portrait on the other side. Of course, I like the DiD boxes because they have this nice magnetic cover. I had already cut the seals on the front, or the top and the bottom at least. But if we flip around the cover, we have a nice background of one of the forests. Let me set that off to the side for now. I do like getting those. I don't use them that often, but I think it's a nice addition. On the inside, we have like an extra cover here. Just an extra cover panel. On the back side, there's that basic product information on swapping out the head and the hands. Then we have our first layer of foam. If we take that out, whoop, something just dropped down. That's his armband right there that fell down. We have the figure and a set of his gear with his extra hands. And let's see if I can pull the tabs on the band that goes underneath. I'm going to have to lay it down real quick and then lift up. There we go. I'm going to set that off to the side and then lift this up so we can take a look at the second layer underneath, which I do believe is the bottom layer. Yep, that's the bottom. With all the rest of his medical equipment and the rest of his gear. All of his kit that he comes with. So, what I'm going to do is take all of this out, lay it out, and then we'll go over the figure and each piece of equipment. Alright, so here we have Wade and all of his equipment out of the box. Let's go ahead and take a look at our figure first. So, it looks like we have a pretty good portrait of him. Normally, we don't see him without his helmet on, so let's actually just kind of pop that on him real quick here so that we can get that look we might be a little bit more used to seeing him. But it is a very detailed head sculpt, as I would come to expect from DiD figures. I'm just looking at his face here, and you can see like the hairs from like the last time he kind of like shaved. Maybe it's been like a day or so. Good painting on the hair. A little bit of dirt on his ears after maybe coming off of the beach. Taking a good look at his uniform. Of course, it's a nice, good, thick material, well made. Feels good to the touch. Doesn't feel real thin. Of course, it feels like all cloth and everything. Of course, plastic buttons, but, you know, it works. His pants, his leggings with little metal hooks on there. I'm really glad that they put these on here because that is painstaking to do that. Bottoms of his boots actually have some nice tread on there too, actually. His boots are leather, and if you really wanted to, you could probably just take all of this off and slide his boots off, and he'd have his feet on under there. Now, he does have the DiD bendy hands on there, so you can actually pose the fingers, and that way he can hold his medical equipment. It might take some manipulation to do that. Might spend some time on that. But we'll also take a look at what other hands he comes with. Maybe they'll include a few that might be specific to his gear. Now, articulation-wise, of course, we have that good head roll, the swivel, up and down. It gets limited a little bit by the thick uniform, but we still have a pretty good range of motion. Arms. Of course, he has that jacket on, so I gotta be careful here. Only limitations really seem to be his, let's not do that. Wade, let's not do that. Okay. Elbows. So good range of motion. It is getting caught up on the jacket a little bit. That's kind of limiting that, but we can get a good range of motion on the arms and the wrists. I don't think he's going to be doing somersaults, so we don't need him to bend that much. But you will be able to get him to do what you want him to, more than likely. Then the waist, I think, might be 2 parts. So there's the top, and then the hip. Then the legs. Right, and then the ankle joint. Can we get the legs out? And back. Not as far back. But it's pretty good range of motion. So very good head sculpt, good range of articulation, and the uniform is pretty solid as well as the body. Like when I was moving the body, I wasn't like afraid I was gonna like snap something, though you always want to be careful. All right, taking a look at the gear. Of course, we have a nice metal M1 helmet with the red cross painted on the front with the white background. Is it 2nd Ranger Battalion? Sorry if I make any mistakes here. But yeah, the medics wanted as much exposure for that as they could. At least on the European front. And of course, it comes with a shovel. The head is metal. And it should, if we unscrew it, bend inwards. Fit into its carrier. Next, we have his medic armband. A little bit of Velcro on there to make it easy for us to put it on. Kind of a thin cloth, but you know what? The look is there, and that's what we're going for. And I like that there's that bit of wear on there too. There's that dirt that they put on there. It's not just pure white. There's that weathering on there that looks really nice. I'm not exactly sure what kind of bags these are. If I find out, I'll update things in like the parts list or when I add my chapters. But there's quite a bit here. So I'll just call this a medic bag for now. He's got a couple of those. Yeah, they're just called medic pouches. But they just have like foam filler on the inside to make it look like there's a lot of stuff in there. And then you could add whatever you want on the outside here. Then, of course, we have the Haversack. Not 100% certain what would actually go into this. It looks like they have something tucked up into there. I don't know. If somebody knows exactly what that is, maybe they can mention that in the comments. I'm really curious, but like, it's so well folded up in that, I kind of don't want to pull that out. If I do some research on this, or I find out a little bit later, I'll add it up at the top. Let's see. Let's take a look at his hands real quick here. He does come with two grabber hands and two kind of semi-open palms. All right, so this is a suspender. Now, the parts list says it's like a suspender with Cantle ring straps, if that means anything to anyone. I'll have to figure out how that goes on. Now, he does come with two canteens. These are plastic. I think this is a metal chain here, though. Can we open them? I don't think they open up, though. And two canteen pouches. Now, he comes with two bandoliers. Now, this surprised me when I first took them out of the box because they actually have a weight to them. Instead of sticking like little things of foam on the inside, DiD apparently actually started putting little metal blocks into there to add some weight to it. Now, that kind of simulates the idea that they're carrying ammunition, though Wade would not be carrying it. Actually, that one's empty right there. Why is that? Huh. Wade would not be carrying ammunition, but he actually does wear the bandoliers just for like faster access to his medical supplies, so he doesn't have to go digging into his bag. So, like, I would keep those in there just to kind of indicate that there's something in there, just not ammunition. So you get two of those. All right. And, of course, the standard belt. I always forget, like, which way this would ideally go, whether that way or that way. I guess it's just whichever's easiest for the individual. And we do get little DiD button hook, which is nice whenever they include those. Never hurts to have extras of those. And here we get 4 little Morphine Syrettes. Is this poison on it? Okay. Yeah, you don't want too much of that. Solution of morphine. All right. So you get 4 of these with the little caps on, and then you get 1 with the cap off with the little needle. Now, it's not really sharp. I would say that's delicate, so you got to be careful not to break that off. But that is an option there, in case you want Wade administering morphine or tucking that into the collar of a uniform. Let's see, we also get a little wristwatch where like the parts are metal and then the straps are leather. Have some nice analog clock detail on there. This I thought was neat. This is miniature safety pins. Now I'm pretty sure they're functional too. More than likely. Yeah, they're likely functional. I don't want to try pulling them off without tweezers or anything because I don't want to tear up this cardboard. So I'm just gonna leave those on there. Nothing on the back. Yeah, I mean, they'd have to be functional in order for them to sleeve them onto the cardboard. But if I'm already dropping stuff like that, I don't have the confidence to do that without tearing up the cardboard. Oh, here's those 2 straps that I think go with the suspenders. Here are these little black vials. Now, they made these out of metal, but in World War II, they were, I had to look this up. They were made of like a Bakelite or a hard rubber substance of some kind. Now, the best I can describe these as is they were like little hard canisters, like pill bottles, essentially. They'd hold medications and other small items that they could pack in there that they either wanted to keep clean or didn't want spilling all over the place in their bags or spilling out of their gear. So you get, I think, 6 of those. All right, next, let's see, is Bay's Plaster Adhesive. So there's some medical adhesive plaster. It's in a little metal can. Doing my best to get my camera to focus. But we can see the detail on there. The Bay Division. Bridgeport, Connecticut. How about that? Oh, upside down. But that little can is metal. Now, we also get this, which I believe this is like a medical syringe canister. I don't think it opens. No, it doesn't open. But this is also made of metal. Only a little bit of detail on there. Here we have another can that's made of metal. Obviously adhesive tape. But I do like the detail that's on here. So that can was also made of metal that had some nice weight to it. We have a little Flask bottle here. It does not open, and it is made of plastic. But it has that kind of brown medicine bottle glass that I kind of think of when I think of like going into like old pharmacies. So that's pretty cool to see that. All right, up next is bandage box. Now, there's nothing on the inside of the box. Or at least I'm pretty sure there isn't. I don't want to tear these open. I think they're actually glued shut. And we get 2 of those. And we get 3 of these. The Sulfanilamide, which is the white antibacterial powder that they pour on wounds. So we get 3 of these little boxes. And we get another 3 of these, which are the Morphine Syrettes. Now, they don't have extra syrettes in there, but it's just the idea of it. Trying to show as much detail there as I can. We also get 5 little bandage rolls. And you could, I think you can actually maybe peel that. I don't know. It didn't want to pull up when I tried pulling on that, so I'm not too sure if we could actually use these. But if you want to like wrap a figure, maybe you could actually go to like a pharmacy and look for something similar, and then like cut your own and roll it up to wrap like figures and stuff. But we get 5 of these little rolls. Up next is a surgical bag with metal tools. So we get scalpels, tweezers, scissors of various types, little pliers right there of some kind, it looks like. So that's a pretty nice addition. And be careful folding that one back up. And then, lastly, in the little baggie, we have, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little sulfanilamide packets of the antibacterial powder. Some detail on there. Let's see, we have the Rangers qualification badge, Wade's dog tags, and a small cigarette, which I think in the item listing actually said is made of metal. So that's not going to like a little paper roll that's going to break apart. It's just going to stay as is. And it's not going to bend up when you put it in the figure's fingers either, which is kind of nice. So I can see why they made that out of metal. And then we have an emergency medical tag. So that is the figure and all his accessories. Now I am going to assemble him off camera and then go into a montage and do the review. This figure of Wade is the level of quality I expect from DiD. The uniform and equipment are all pretty much good. Thick materials that match the look that I would want for the character. The addition of metal accessories for most items that look metal, and leather for most leather items is a welcome addition. Including the added weights to the bandoliers gave the figure a good amount of heft and authentic feeling. I just don't know how to explain that feeling of holding one of these figures in hand, but it's pretty awesome. I was pleasantly surprised by the amount of equipment Wade came with, including the tools in the surgical kit. I also found that the images on the box he came in were also a bit more helpful than usual in how to hook all of his gear and straps together. This figure and equipment are fantastic. What I would like to see from DiD are some quality of life improvements. Figuring out what straps and hooks go where can most often be frustrating, and more product images of the figure assembled with unobstructed views would be welcome. More importantly to me, though, would be the inclusion of additional wrist pegs. 2 additional wrist pegs would be a lifesaver included with each figure. Overall, I'm ecstatic to have another addition to the squad of one of my favorite films. I hope you've enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Feel free to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave a comment. Would you like to see more figures from the film, including re-releases of previous characters from DiD? I know I've missed a few like Caparzo and Jackson. This has been Heartless Spartan. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.